All right, so this is the EOC review 1 on linear functions, okay? So the first part of your project is where I'm going to give you notes on linear functions. Then you're going to answer questions, okay? And then I'm going to go through how to answer those questions. All right, so the first card that is going to be on defining linear. So we got the definition. The definition of a linear function. So a couple things you need to know about it. Linear functions are going to be lines or graph straight lines. Linear functions, they graph straight lines. They graph straight lines. Not only do they graph straight lines, y'all, they have constant rates of change. Okay, they graph straight lines, they have constant rates of change, and they're arithmetic sequences. An arithmetic sequence means that you add or subtract to get to the next number. So in parentheses here, I'm going to put add or subtract to get next number. Okay? That's what an arithmetic sequence is. All right. With a linear function, you can have them do 4 different graphs. Okay? This is what they look like. Two, 3, 4. Okay, so you may have a straight line that goes up. What kind of slope is this kind of line? What kind of slope is this line right here? What kind of slope is this? The line is going up, up. Miss Reyes, what kind of slope is that? It's a positive slope. Thank you, Mia. Positive slope. Okay. If the line is going down, as x increases, y increases, what type of slope does this line have? Negative. I'm going to move y'all towards the front because I can't really hear y'all. I really do need to hear you, okay? So please open up your mouths and speak, okay? All right, if the line is just laying flat, this line right here is laying flat, it's a horizontal line. What kind of slope does a horizontal line have? Undefined. Not undefined.
No slope.
It's 0 slope. Very good. M is equal to 0. And then what kind of slope does a vertical line that goes straight up and down, what kind of slope does a vertical line have? Undefined slope. Me is the only one that knows. Okay. That means that you have a number that's on top, but 0 ends up being on the bottom. Anytime you have 0 on the bottom of a fraction, that's undefined. You can't divide a number divided by 0. You can't do that, okay? This is undefined. Any questions about that? Anybody lost? You sure? Okay. All right, here, the slope is rise over run. Remember, this is your y-intercept. Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Y-intercept, this is the only line that does not have a y-intercept. No y-intercept here. This has no y-intercept. Any questions about that? card number 2. This is card 1. Okay. And now we're getting ready to go to card number 2. Card number 2, we're going to talk about standard form and slope-intercept form, okay? Standard form and slope-intercept form. You ready? Okay. Card 2. EOC review number 1, this is card number 2. We have the standard form for a linear function, standard form, and we got slope-intercept form. The standard form for a linear function is ax plus by equals c. Okay? A, B, and C are numbers. But A, if it's in standard form, cannot be negative. Can't be a negative number. It cannot be a fraction. It cannot be a decimal. It has to be a whole number. The other ones, it don't matter. They can be negatives, they can be fractions, they can be decimals in order for it to be in standard form. Does it mean it's not linear? No, it does not mean that it's not linear. It just means that it's not in standard form. Any questions? Slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Most linear functions or equations are written in this form. Most of them. Where your m is going to be your slope, or another word for slope is rate or rate of change. Your b is your y-intercept or starting amount. Any questions about that part? Different names for x and y. What's another name for x values besides just x values? No, domain. What's another name for x besides domain and x values? And you're thinking, when you said zeros, you're thinking about x-intercept, where the line crosses the x-axis, okay? All right. Do you understand what I just said, baby? So we got domain, independent variable, or let's put input, and then independent. Okay? What are different names for y besides y values? What's range? Very good, babe. What else? Dependent. And output. And what else? What's another way to write y? F of x. Or g of x, or h of x, you know. Function notation. Any questions about that? Anybody lost? We're going to turn on the back. I'm going to do an example for standard form so you can see it. Okay. So if I want to write this equation in standard form, if I have the fraction, let's start like this. If we have 3 over 4x plus 3y is equal to 2. This is not in standard form. Why is this not in standard form? Because it's a fraction. So the only way to move a fraction is to get rid of the denominator of 4, okay? What fraction, what operation is fraction? What operation is this right here?
Negative.
Division. It is division. What's the opposite of division? So multiply everything by 4. Multiply 4 on both sides. So when I multiply everything by 4, I should have just put everything by 4. Multiply this by 4, multiply this by 4, okay? So when I multiply, sorry y'all. When I multiply everything by 4, what do I get here? This is gone, and I get 3x here. What do I get here? 12y. Bring down the equal. What do I get here? 8. This is now in standard form. Doesn't matter if the other numbers are fractions or decimals, just A cannot be a fraction, decimal. It just can't. Any questions about that? If it's a decimal and they want you to write it in standard form, then change the decimal to a fraction and do what I just did. Any questions? Okay, third card. Slope. The formula for slope or rate of change. Slope or rate of change. And sometimes they will say average rate of change. What's the formula for slope or rate of change? There are two. What's one of the formulas for slope? Rise over run. Very good, Mia. What's the second formula for slope or rate of change? Very good, babe. Any questions about that? Is there anybody that is lost? Card number 4. Okay, so now we're writing linear equations. How to write a linear equation. Okay, so these are the steps. There are 3 steps. See if anybody can remember from the beginning of the year. Well, the end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter. Does anybody remember what you have to find first to write a linear equation? Find M. What does M represent? Slope. If they don't give you the slope, then you have to use the formula to calculate what the slope is. Please make sure that you go back and read notes and note cards and everything, okay? Does anybody remember what the second step is? Find B. Very good, babe. Find B. Okay? So, what does B stand for a linear equation? Y-intercept, or where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay. All right. 3 is to what? What's 3? Substitute. You're gonna substitute M and B into slope-intercept form. What did we say the slope-intercept form is? Very good, Mia. Y equals mx plus b. So you're gonna replace M and B, plug it in. Any questions about that? All right, on the back of note card 4, write the equation given 2 points. So you're gonna write linear equation given, we got 5 and 1, and let's do 6 and 7, okay? So step 1, what did we say step 1 was? Very good. So step 1, we're gonna find M. So we got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're gonna substitute the numbers in. So let's label. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. Any questions so far? What are we gonna substitute on the top?
7 minus 1.
Say again, baby.
7 minus 1.
Very good. 7 minus 1. What are we gonna substitute on the bottom?
6 minus 5.
6 minus 5. So on the top, what does that give you?
6.
6 on the top. What does it give you on the bottom?
1.
So the slope here is equal to what? M is equal to what? 6. What's step 2?
Find B.
Find B. B is the y-intercept. In order to find B, does anybody remember what to use?
The
Y equals mx plus b.
yeah.
So you're gonna pick one of the points. Which point do you feel like is gonna be the easiest to choose?
5
Find
1.
1.
I would definitely, yeah, I would choose this one. So if we choose this first point, what are we substituting for y? 1. What are we substituting for m?
6.
6. What are we substituting for x? 5. Please speak up, y'all. I honestly can't hear you at all. I'm serious, I can't hear you. Then we got 1 is equal to, what does this give you?
30.
30 plus b. Now what do we do to get b by itself?
Subtract 30.
Subtract 30. What's 1 minus 30? Negative 29. Good job, babe. Thank you. I heard you that time. And the last step, obviously, is to substitute m and b into the slope-intercept form. Step 3 is substitute. So you're going to replace m and b with 6 and negative 29. So how do you write the equation? How do you write the equation? I can't hear you, Allison, please. How do you write the equation?
Y equals 6x plus 29.
Very good. Thank you, sweetheart. It's okay if you're wrong. It's not okay not to say nothing. But you're right. Okay. Anybody still writing? Okay. You finished yet, baby? Okay. The next is an arithmetic sequence, okay? The next card we're gonna do is arithmetic sequences. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is where you add or subtract to get the next number. You add or subtract to get to the next number. So let's do some examples of an arithmetic sequence where you're adding or subtracting to get to the next number. Okay? Let's do some examples. Add or subtract to get to the next number. Okay? All right, so let's try this one, the first example. Let's do this one. Let's do 6 is the first number, 6, I'm going backwards, Lord help me. 6, let's do 11, let's do 16, let's do 21, let's do 26, ... All right, this is an arithmetic sequence. Are we adding or are we subtracting to get to the next number? Adding. So our common difference is D is going to be, put common difference. Our common difference is going to be a positive number. Let me write this correctly, sorry y'all. D is common difference. What number are we adding to get to the next number? 5. So our common difference is a positive 5. See if you can do this one, okay? Tell me what this one is. We'll start with a different number. Let's start with a different number. What's the common difference here?
2.
The common difference here is 2. Okay? Let's do another one. Okay? What's the common difference for this one, you think? -8. Very good. Subtracting 8 to get to the next number. Any questions about that?
No.
All right, on the back of card 5, arithmetic sequence formula. Is A sub n is equal to A sub 1 plus parentheses n minus 1 times d. All right, so n N is the term that you're looking for. So all your N's, this is the term that you're looking for. A sub 1 is the first number in the list.
Bless you.
Thank you. Again, N is the term that you're looking for. This is minus 1. And D, what did we say D was? Common what? Difference. Good job. That's the number that's being added or subtracted to get to the next number in the list. Do example. We're gonna find A sub 10. Let's do this one. Let me give you a list. Let's do, not one is too bad. Let's do this one. Let's try. Okay. So we're gonna find, what number are we trying to find in the list? If it says A sub 10, what number are we trying to find in the list? The 10th number in the list. So N here is equal to 10. What's A sub 1? What's the first number in the list? 14. Good job. And what's the common difference? What's the common? 4. So now let's rewrite the formula to see if we can find the 10th number in the list. So that's A sub 10. You're looking for the 10th number in the list. The first number is 14 plus, you got 10 minus 1. Got 10 minus 1 times what?
4.
Times 4. So let's solve this and see what we get, okay? So we got 14 plus, what's this in parentheses? 9 times what number? 4. What goes first? What are we gonna do first here to solve this? We're gonna do multiplication first. So when we multiply, what does this give us? 36. So we got 14 plus 36. Good job, baby. So what's A sub 10? What's the 10th number in the list?
50.
50. The 10th number in the list is 50. Any questions? Last part. Anyone still writing? What's wrong? Say, you sure? Okay. Last card. Recursive and explicit. Okay? So we got recursive and we got explicit. Recursive and explicit. Recursive formulas are formulas where you have to use, or you use the previous number to get the next number. So recursive formulas, they are formulas or equations where you use previous number to get the next number. Previous number to get the next. Explicit formulas is where you substitute a number to get a direct answer. So you don't need the previous number to get the next. All you gotta do is substitute. So explicit formulas are formulas or equations where you substitute to get a direct answer. All you gotta do is substitute to get an answer. You don't need the previous number to get to the next number. You just substitute and get an answer. I'm gonna do one example of each. So here you could use a next now equation. So you can do starting at a number, give me any number, give me a small number. 2. So we're gonna start at 2 and we're gonna say next equals now, and we're adding, remember, because it's linear. Let's add a number. Give me any number to add. Say again. Any number. 5. 5, 3, doesn't matter. All right, so let's do this. Let's do our ordered pairs here. X and then Y. Okay, so my first number, what did it say my first number was? Starting at 2. What's my second number gonna be then? 7, because I'm adding 5. What's my third number gonna be? Come on, I'm adding 5. 12. And so on and so forth. I'm adding 5 to get to the next number. Any questions about that? That's a recursive formula. In order to get the next number, you have to add or subtract to get to the next number. This is a recursive formula. Explicit could be y equals mx plus b. All those are explicit. Any type y equals mx plus b is explicit, like y is equal to, your slope here would be 5. So this is going to be 5x. What's your 0 number? Your first number here is 2. But what would be the 0? What was the number before the 2? Negative 3. This is an example of explicit, because if I want to know the third number, I just plug in 3. What's 5 times 3? 15. What's 15 minus 3?
12.
That's how I got 12 here. Okay? All right, so this is an example of an explicit formula. I can substitute an answer. I can substitute a number to get an answer. Another explicit is going to be the arithmetic sequence. A sub n is equal to, what's the formula? Anybody remember? A sub 1. What else? Plus parentheses n minus 1 times d. This is another explicit, because if I want to find the 10th number, I plug in 10. All I'm doing is plugging in numbers to get a direct answer. That's what makes it explicit. Any questions? Those are your note cards. I really need you to study that, okay?